Good evening, one and all present here. Today, we all gathered here for World Energy Conservation Week Celebration Day 3 from the Institution of Engineers India, Thiruvallur Local Center. We cordially invite you for the week-long celebration themed as World Energy Conservation Day.
Yes, sir. So, thank you so much, all the people to world around. This energy conservation is a week which is celebrated for climatic action. So, UN SDG goals. So, SDG goals have been stipulated. Even still, people have a hesitance of energy conservation. The awareness is very much important, and the government itself has initiated this particular program for National Energy Conservation Week, being celebrated from 14th to 21st of December. So on that occasion, so we have people from different industries or engineers, part of the team, have contributed a lot. And for the past 3 days, they were delivering lectures on energy conservation. On this occasion, so we have our eminent speaker, Engineer Prakash from Tamil Nadu Electricity Board. He's an young chap having a vast knowledge of all such information, and he has contributed many such things on United Nations sustainability goals. And today he is going to deliver such a super talk on energy conservation and climatic action. So welcome you, sir, to the board. And I welcome all the people who are connected through online and watching through YouTube. And I wish all the best for the team. Before that, we request Teja, so please read out the profile, and as per agenda, so we would also release today's poster. Okay, then I'll ask Manian sir to release it. So Manian sir would be releasing it. He has joined. Please proceed, Teja. Please read out the speaker's profile.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I request K. Mohan. Sorry. Now I request SAP functional consultant Mr. Prakash. He done SAP MM and WM consultant with 5 years of functional experience in designing, configuring, testing, and documenting of MM through version 6.0. with one end-to-end implementation and one support project in MM and WM. 4 years experience as a SAP MM consultant with one support, 1 year experience as SAP WM consultant with one support. Support experience in ECC 6.0 in material management MM module. Very proficient with purchasing, inventory management, invoice verification, and master data. Now I request Mr. Prakash to.
One moment. So, before Prakash sir, so please wait for one moment. So, we have a week-long poster to be released by our eminent engineer Manian sir. So, who is also working with the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board. So, he is working as an assistant executive engineer in commercial department, who is taking up a lot of initiatives on this energy conservation. So he has given a lot of board proceedings and instructions to conserve energy, and likely by 2019 he has released a BP on usage of this earth leakage circuit breaker too. So sir, please release our energy conservation process. Please, sir. Teja, you please share the poster.
வணக்கம். தற்போது இந்த போஸ்டர் ரிலீஸ் பண்றதுக்கு எனர்ஜி கன்சர்வேஷன் கொண்டாடுவதற்கு அனைவருக்கும் வாழ்த்துக்கள். நன்றி.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful wishes for this energy conservation. Teja, so you can also release the single poster which has 6 speakers. So that would be the prominent, and we have a list of people, most of the people from Tamil Nadu Electricity Board. who has contributed a lot on energy. So those people in turn working for energy conservation too. So this is the right time that we are talking about energy conservation. So the producer itself, they are thinking about the conservation means it's the fact that the Tamil Nadu is going to be the playing the lead role on energy conservation. So we wish all the best for all the people who are ready to join us in conserving the energy, tackling climatic action. So thank you so much. So please proceed, Teja. So now, Prakash sir, so you can proceed with that. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for the poster. So I'm very glad to have one of the hands I have given for this energy conversion, what we are doing for a conservation part. I'm very glad to be in this platform. So I will share my presentation. Yes, sir. Can everybody see the share presentation, sir?
Sir, it's visible, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Teja. So thank you very much. This is what we are talking about. Now today's topic is of climate change and its impact. So the climate, what is why everybody is involved in the climate. So everything is upon us. So we revolve around the sun, right? So sun will not forget us, or earth will not forget us, even though human forget us, but suns and the earth or nature, the nature will not forget us. So we need this energy conservation part for thanksgiving for the nature. What we call it as a thanksgiving, because as a human we have around the sixth sense, right? So we must look upon this nature as a mother nature. So how we look as a mother. So we in the mother who is when we are childhood, the mother will be carrying us more. When she becomes old, we will be showing back the same love what we are doing as a energy conversion. The nice topic what our team has taken. So in that team, my small pieces of a part is climate change and its impact. So, and also we are going to be seeing about the EMS part, where we are, most of us are engineers. So environment management system, where we will have some technical part, how to utilize this all the stuffs what we are what we are using day by day, how to manage those things. That's we are concentrating more. So the participants who are in the ground, please have chat with me, or you can post your chats in YouTube as well, so we can have that interactions happen. So thank you. Let's just go inside. So I heard that we have students more in the part. So the students of engineers are in. Teja, as I rightly said, the two students are available, right? Teja, is the students are available inside?
Yes, Prakash sir. So all the people are listening in YouTube as well.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So we have the people, those who are connected, and those engineers alone have connected. So
Yes,
people
sir.
are watching on the YouTube.
Okay, okay, sir. Fine. So, so this is a small exercise where we YouTube's are the platform is YouTube, so you can hear me very well. So you can see this picture alone, right? This is a small exercise where we can change inside in sense for a change. Who is looking for a change? This perception is the one part. The picture, what the title says, the picture, perception, and descriptions, right? So we can see the perception. What is a perception in the sense? If a man we leave it the professional lives, so we can see that a man are human, so the perceptions will develop automatically as we have a sixth sense. Okay, the perception is a very important tool where we can change yourself. So perception, what in the way you look things. From this picture, you can clearly say what we have something, right? We have a man and he is holding a knife, and we have a woman who is sleeping very well, comfortably. So this is the picture where you can see a perception, right? So many stories will be arriving in this single shot. You can see more stories you can imagine. So one of the story may be a positive one or negative one or neutral one. So we have three parts. Okay, so candidate who can, I can give you a 2 minutes time. If you have in YouTube, you open your chat box very well. So afterwards we can see the chat box. So I can give us around 30 seconds for it to you can feed your first thought on this. You can feed your first thought on the chat box. But in YouTube you have any one response or two response is very well welcome. So who are seeing in live, you can just see this picture and type in the chat box what your first thought is, what your first thought is. I will give you around 30 seconds time. I will mute, I will not speak, so you can think. So I will give a 30 seconds time. 30 seconds. 30 starts. Okay. Okay, time is up. The first thought you might have recorded, I think so. You can catch it, and afterwards also you can record it. But I need a first thought of a candidate who can. It will be interesting. We can see in the end of the session what will the stories will be on. Okay. So the story is a man is having a knife and a woman is sleeping. You can make anything perception on this. Okay. We will travel on topics now, where we will be starting from a history on climate change. So we will be starting from the history of climate change observed by India when we wake up, right? So when we wake up on the climate change issues, from we start from there. And after that, the factors influencing the climate. What is the influence? What affects the climate? That we will see apart, and the impacts on this. The impact of this influence, we will see the impacts of the what is the outcome. And also we will see about the engine oils and about the engine oils and their standards. So we will see about that part also. And the waste management, we can rightly we can do it. What is the waste management, and the waste management and the dirty oils, and how the dirty oils can be converted into useful oils, that we will see very well. And as well the knowledge on ISO 14001, what we are engineers are looking for the standards. So we will be crazy about standards. We will have most of the standards we have. If you say electrical equipment or mechanical equipment or chemical equipments, we will have all, we have standards. Through the standards we will be traveling very much. So in one of them I will show you one interesting standards, which is we have in EMS, what we call it as environment management system. And as well as the activities we are in aspect and inspect, that also we will see something parts. So first we start with history on climate change. So this is a history, right? So we can see in the picture, you can see Indira Gandhi's first in June 14, 1972, where she was invited, and we attended one human environment, what can you say, one conference, that is an international conference, where we are regularly from this year we are regularly a participant of this conference. Latest the Prince Charles has appreciated our Tirunamale one girl through this conference only. That was started from 1972. This is the year where India was concentrating on climate change. Much climate change, what must we do on the carbon credits and carbon emissions and this kind of things. So we can see a roughly idea. We came from 1972, the energy conservation and all the thoughts was born from this year, right? So we can say 20 years, we can in this We can Indira Gandhi has made a wonderful speech. That speech was fantastic. That speech has made India, all the countries to look India as a different way. So that speech was very fantastic. You can see in that speech in YouTube itself, where you can see it in the June 14, 1972, Indira Gandhi. If you put and search, the speech will come. That was a fantastic one. That is the line what I have written here. What has been done. So next we are going for this conference where we can see that the climate change definition. So engineers needs definition, right? So we will be traveling on defined things. How the define, what is a define? Nothing but the words were be used correctly. That is more important. We have plenty of words like in the engineering, like that. This climate change may be defined by, you can see directly the keywords, that directly or indirectly the human activity. So you can see uh, the word directly or indirectly. A human activity is the one source. The nature will not kill herself, right? So mother herself will not do it. Somebody is a culprit, right? The culprit is nothing but human activities. What we do regularly, what we use in by day. That is the reflections what we causes in climate change. So human activity, and that alters the combinations of the global atmosphere. So that we must concentrate on this part very well. And we see that we can see that we must observe that part. You can see the word observe, right? So the observe is also a one important key. So you can differentiate two words, right? Looking and observe, right? What is looking? Just we are looking out of mind. That is called looking. So look, right? Just a look. But observe is a thing where you will be seeing in different way. So you must observe what you are doing. So this word observe is nothing but what is kind of activity you are doing to the global atmosphere that can be impacted. That impaction we must see at constant time. So the time period is very important. The last keyword is time period. So you can see the nature's one, we are pumping out all the pollutions. Still everything has a time, right? So if the time crosses a danger limit, like Delhi, so Delhi suffers every year, right? So Chennai also suffers every year, November or December, right? So the time period within the time period, if we not close that issue, it will be giving a big headache to the global environment. So that is more important, the time period. So in this definition, what are the keywords we can see? Direct or indirect or human activities, global atmosphere, and observe, and time period. This is the most important keywords what we are straightly looking upon. So this is a definition, and we can go for the other. So if your factors influencing, what is the influence? What concentration on climate? What we concentrate first is altitude. So altitude, longitude, and distance from the sea and ocean currents, and the Earth's orbit, Earth's strength, sun's strength. These are the factors where we have in nature. So in the nature, we have more measurements, right? So we have technical measurements. This kind of technical measurements is an influence part. So we all know that Earth is tilted in 5 degree. So we all know about the 5 degree tilt. That 5 degree tilt is the only reason where we have a season part. So if it have a 0 degree line, so we doesn't have anything change on that. So the Earth, which is revolving around us, so which it revolves continuously, is as a tilt of 5 degree. So that is the main part. So the 5 degree influences these parameters very well. So these parameters are the one which influence the climate. So we will go for next one. We will see the influence of that part. So we can see there the Earth is there, right? So Earth is the South Pole and North Pole. So we can see the 5 degree tilt. That is the 5 degree tilt. So in June month, if you see in June month, this is the rays, the sun rays, which is concentrated more. This kind of sun rays, this is the part where we have a most light, right? So we can see that North Pole is absorbing light, the North Pole. So where we have more ice glaze, right? So we have ice glaze. So if you see here this part down, we can see light is very less. So this is a change. If you see that this kind of thing, December. So we can have this kind of months wise, we can have this part of season changes, and then we have the next line. You can see the March and April, you can see the straight line. So we can have a straight line, no tilt. No tilt is there, the straight line. So you can note down this date and time and month. You can clearly observe the lights of the sun. So if you have clear vision, clear how you see through the shadow, you can clearly observe this kind of positions of sun. So next we go for this. This is the where we have all in the kids life or in our schooling life, we have seen this change of part, but nobody have think about it or thought about how it revolves, how it goes. So we are dealt with our personal life, right? We have forgotten nature life, so we are gone into our personal life. So personal life has made us forgotten this schooling life. The schooling itself, we can see that this kind of stuffs we have learned more, but we never opened a book and done this activity as a practical thing. If you have seen your kids life, yeah, you can see, go back in your school books. If you have, you can see this picture as well. So this picture, if you open and see this, what is the date of the calendar, with position we will there, what is the seasons, we never have investigated, or you never have gone through this learning purpose. So this is a time where we must do and look on the nature part. So this energy conservation will happen very well. So if you see this day, month of March and 20 and 21, we say this kind of name. So we can have the summer part, you can see here, right? So this zone is called as summer, where we can have these three lines are have been affected with the sun rays closely, very closely. And if you see this autumn and this is winter, so this kind of revulsion will have, which will not reflect, but we can see that in December month we have more rains rather than what we regularly will have. We will have some cold, right? We will have some cold, but the rains are continuously going in unexpected time. So that makes us as we are not ready on that time. So the water is more, right? We are, if you are ready. So even the developed countries who have much plants, they also suffer in this climate change. They do not have idea when the cyclones hits the. So even the developed countries suffers, even the developed countries suffers. But if you see undeveloped countries, that also will go on everyday basis, right? So we'll go for next slide, where we have impacts. In the influence of this part we have seen, now we are going for an impact. So impact, then namely we can see the temperature will rise, so warming, and we can see the ice sheets will be sinking out. So it will be converted into water very well, right? So the water level will increase, right? The sea level increases, the snow decreases. So if the stone decreases, means inside that species, the endangered species will go into red book, right? So everybody know that about red book. So the fast animals are entering into red book, right? What is called as red book? So any species which is endangered is coming out of the surveillance, or it is not fit for the survey, it is vanishing out from the earth. So that name will be entered into red book. So red book list is nowadays is going high, right? Due to this kind of impacts what we are making from our activity, this kind of impacts is coming naturally from our activity, not nature is killing herself into this. So we can see what is the reason for its temperature, right? So we are pumping out CO2s, right? We are pumping out more CO2s into the environment. That CO2 may be coming from factory, or it coming from a vehicle, right? So anywhere, any power plant, or anything which is affects and mixed into the air. I will show you the reactions. What is a chemical reaction in the background? What will comes, how it reacts. So these are the impacts which downs our nature, So currently we can see here is a graph. You can closely observe. If you have a YouTube, you can zoom it and see that the graph how it is, right? So you can see up to 1950s, 50, right? 1950 when we got independence. So when we got independence, you can see clearly see the impact of carbon dioxide level. So you can see the low level mark around 300 only, just a 300. So after that, you can see the narrow change, right? It is increasing very well, right? So this increase has caused very impact on the Earth's surface, right? So I'm taking only India, 1950. So around after we civilized more and industrialized more. Industrialization revolution came. That industrial revolutions has picked up without any nature measures. So that measurement we have loosed it and we have concentrated on our comfort zone. What is the comfort zone of human? So we will discover what are the things we have want to know, want to use for a humans very comfortably, but we never thought on nature comfort. So nature comfort has come down naturally. So naturally it is not come down, right? So nature's accepted what we do. So our will, it has been accepting, right? So what we throw in, so it will accept, but it will definitely throw back. So if you clearly, if you see that global after 1950s, this carbon dioxide has shooted up erratically. So we are it is shooted up. We cannot come back to 1950s again like that. It has shooted up. So that shoot up has caused us much impact on human lives, and as well as more cancers are coming, right? In skin cancers and breathing troubles we have. So most of the health issues we are facing on this part. So this industrial revolution has came after 1950s. If you see clearly on this one Charlie Chaplin movie is there, right? The Dictator, like that movies are there. So Charlie Chaplin movie, you can see that that movie, that industrial revolution, how it picked up, they might have shown in clearly, right? So that part we must concentrate it. This is the history where this carbon dioxide level shooted up. So next we are going for this 10 hottest year globally, right? 10 hottest year. You can see the 10 hottest year we are catching on that. So every year some 1 degree rise of globally, right? So currently we are 2, right? And now we are going 2. So we have around, it was around, we can see a rise on 2010, 1.7. So it is nearing, is not it is increasing suitably. So we in the December as well, we are facing not more cloud, right? More cold. We are not facing more cold. We are facing the hot only. Every year the hot pumped out. So hot only is pushing us, right? So you can see that we have a data for 2016 year 2.1. So what will be the 2017? You can see here, right? We can see here 2017 much better, right? So something has happened, right? Something has happened as, so we can have something breathing, but we are crossing around 2.9. See the 1.9. So plus 1.9 in the middle we are, but we have not still gone down. So globally it is something as it is increasing. So and here we have worldwide heat is 2017 ranking. If you see, the third place sector is our zone, the Asia zone, where you can see this orange color, right? Third place where we can see clearly see this oceans part where we have in the third zone, right? So in second zone you can see here, this is the right, this is the world, all the industrial positions are here only, right? We can see in this clearly we can see where the industrial revolutions is coming up. So industrial and more innovations are born to place. That place itself a hot place it is coming, right? So the clearly it can say the human activity is the one part where we must innovate more. Energy conservation is very important. Here we are going for 2019 data, where we are second, we pushed out for second. You can see here when we are third in 2017, now we have gone up to 2019. So we can see here 1.15 we have in the rise of globally. So we have around this rise is very horrible, very horrible rise. You can see. So then we can see here we have some data where in 1980s we have only this kind of degree rise only, or 1980s, 80s in 80, 19, up to 1981, we can see around 0.18. You can see a 0.18. So rise. So after 2005, you can see the some other hottest year has came down. So around 2009 to 2019, we can record for around 148 years ago what we were, that was lost above. So we have pushed up very, we are in top 10 warmest year on we are facing right now. So datas are collecting very well, but we are not improving that part. We are not decreasing the global temperature on that. So if you see here, we can see clearly see that in which year what has happened. So the first warmest year in the period what we have done, this is the part. So you can see the data from born from all the place. But now currently we are in 1.78 globally a temperature rise. What is in terms of Fahrenheit, our temperature rise in the term of degree Celsius 0.99. So next we are going for a snowfall. So you can not only hot, you can must concentrate. You must concentrate on snow cover area as well. So you can see here where are the white places, right? The white places is decreasing, right? You can see that very less place only is there. So please remember the species also is available in the spot. So the species also we can see that you can see here. So the snows are decreasing. If you see correctly, that the month of July, this is the snow part. This is the snow. Only this snow will be there. If you say for December, you can see the November part. You can see the increase, small increase, right? Small increase. So this is the December, January. So you can see clearly. So September, nothing is there. Nothing is new, right? So you can see this kind of impact. If it's animal surveillance, you can see a white tiger, snow tiger. Snow tiger is entered into our red book line. You know that the species is gone. So it will survey only the snow. If the snow is very less on this part, so nothing will happen on that. So we doesn't have anything on this, right? So this, remember that some people will be living on this kind of even humans will survey this kind of if animals are there, the same the species is human, right? Human also is one kind of species. That species also will survey this kind of line if it is there. So next we will travel to next slide. This is the important topic where we are currently we must concentrate on. So acidification, so the acidic nature, right? So the process of making a acidic nature, in this acidic nature we must concentrate on more on this. So, uh, can you hello, can you mute something, sir? Yes, thank you. So this process of making a acidic, what is the process of making acidic? So we are mixing up with the nature. So we are going connected to the nature where we have a acidification part. So now we are going for that part. So if you see this here clearly, how we are pumping out, we are destroying the nature. You can see the acid rate formation. So from where this NOS and SOx is coming, right? So this NOS and SOx are coming from a polluted area. Simply, if you see a polluted area, right? So polluted area in terms of air pollution. So mostly the smoke area. So mainly we can see the vehicle over there. So this causes this kind of things causes the precipitation will cause mainly on acid rain. This acid rain is not a normal rain. So it is not acid rain. So how we acidific the HP value? Simply the HP values goes up, so goes beyond that neutral line, right? So that makes acidic, right? So that pH, if you count, means that will not survey some kind of species on that. We may have something power, but small pieces will not survey this kind of water. So normally the soil erosion will come, right? So that water, if goes into soil, the soil erosion will come naturally, that the soil tightness and fertility it loses its fertility as well. So if it loses a fertility, we doesn't have any food. So food will be disturbed. Next part is our food, right? So everything is a closed chain, right? Everything is a closed loop. So we will talk about this food chain, right? So this food chain, I think currently the food chain is disturbed very well. The food chain, which is must have something on the nature's part, that food chain must not be disturbed. So this kind of what we have taken initiative of energy conservation, that will make this alive on this food chain. So this acid rain will definitely will cause some species to unstable. Next, we are going for this technical part where you can clearly see that when the NAS and SCAS comes, the reaction with the air, right? The concentrately with the reaction with the air and water, how it converts, you can see. So our vehicle pumps out NOx, this part. So our vehicle pumps out this part. So our factories and the power plants pumps out these two elements, right? This two element reaction with with the air. We will make this kind of reactions into this kind of reaction. What this is the air mixed what we are breathing in to the lungs. So this air mixed will have some impact on lungs as well, right? So if you see the air polluted area, the people who are living in the air polluted area is recommend to eat a banana. So in a day they must eat at least a 2 banana, because the lungs will be that if any dust is in this area where we called as trachea, right? We have a trachea. In this line, they add the banana will take the dust to at least to the out part. So we will do not have any impact on that. So we cannot say that, right? The banana will cure that, right? Less impact. That's all we can say. But the lungs disease are now we must concentrate on more on lungs disease. If you see that after corona, thanks God, the people the corona has impacted this air pollution, right? It's kind of a air mix, right? It's airborne. We will say the airborne, the word, right, called airborne. That airborne will definitely enter into our nostril area. That nostril area will go through trachea. It will definitely touch our lungs as well. So we must care about our human organs. That organs are very much precious rather than our big company's car, right? Big company's car, you can say a BW car, any many very utility value, we can say a utility value, but organ doesn't have any utility value, right? That is a one organ, right? We cannot have a duplicate one. So this kind of activity, we must have a different solution on energy consumption. So that part we must have some constant students. So next we go for this. What are the environment impacts on NOS? So kindly mute your part. Yes, thank you. So here we can see the environment impacts on knots. So what are the impacts on knots? We can see a particle, knots reacts to the form acid, vapor and particles and penetrates into lungs. So you can see the human. First, you can see a human's lungs is disturbed. The respiratory disease will come in, right? So another part is our greenhouse gas, right? 300 times more damaging than CO. You can see here clearly, right? CO2. We are concentrated on carbon dioxide, but 300 times it is very dangerous of this nitrous oxide, right? We must concentrate on this nitrogen gas as well, right? And we can see that visibility also it impacts, right? It blocks the lights and reduce the lights of our eye, right? It definitely reduces our eyes of eye and acid rain. That acid rain damage our forest as well. So buildings and water sources also affected, right? So more concentrate of this kind of impacts onto the environment, so that we can save our energy and utilize in different way. What kind of instrument is making this kind of pollution, that we must have an alternate solution for that. So alternate solution is nothing but it will have an outcome from the energy conversion, definitely, right? So this ground level also will affect, right? Definitely the ground level damages to lungs and vegetation and crops. This vegetation means our soil, right? That is a gold for us. The soil is as a gold, one kind of gold. So gold, even the gold is getting from the rocks, right? It is coming from the rocks as well. So we will have this vegetation will be definitely affected if we are having acid rain on that. The water is polluted. So as if you see the globally impact will have long distance winds. Definitely it will have a wind part. In the wind itself, it's a gas, right? This gas will mix on this wind part. So it will be act as a carrier as well. If you have a more. So next we go for next slide, where we can see here exactly what is a source for it. So here we can talk about sources, right? So what are the stores which is impacted much and which is impacted less? So we can see here we are separating into two parts, right? One is emitting, one is receiving, right? So emitters, these are the emitters, right? These are the emitters. So where we are getting from what this kind of air pollution, right? Air producing part. So that sources will mix with the gas. So again, it goes for the environment only. It is giving out the environment. This kind of deposits, a dry deposit, wet deposit, right? If you consider all the deposits will be on the trees, right? You can see a nearby any polluting industry, the trees will not be in green, right? It will be, it has been loosed its shape. It has been loosed its shape. First point, it has been loosed its shape, right? Its color, right? It's a main thing, its vegetation part, everything it loses. So the gas pollution is much affected. Here if you can see, right, the emitting part. So both what is a dry deposit and wet deposit, right? So wet in terms of rain, it comes in terms of rain. Mainly the ammonia is will be released much. So this ammonia, what is ammonia? Where we have something called, it will have bacteria on vegetations much grow. It have a loose part. So here you can see a dry vegetation. That the dry vegetation deposits over there. That's that deposit, right? If you do not eat without washing, this may be a harmful one, right? It directly enters into your food plate and your mouth as well. So this kind of activity will come more due to this oxidation. This oxidation is the danger one, where we'll have a environment impact. It grows the NOS and DOS. This oxidation will clearly grows as well. So next we go for this two card. So dry deposit on the large particles and wedge deposit. So this is are the two phases where the surface the surface will be spoiled much. So oxidation will be increasing much. So if you have an iron part in the totally exposed to the atmosphere, you can clearly say that it will be definitely it will a corrosion will happen very soon, right? So dry deposit and this both are the danger one which can we have in terms of pollution. So this is the effects of acid rain. You can see really the man who is just seeing and taking in the samples of pH value. He is nothing but is seeing the pH value of this water. Through the pH we will found out the acid part. So here you can see the walls, right? This is, you can see the walls. This is due to acid rain. So here you can see the tree. This is called as tree. You can see without any kind of leaves. You can see that every leaves has been destroyed, not in the nature one. So we have a spring where we have a leaf will be falling down automatically, but we doesn't have this kind of thing. It is during the summer or autumn, itself the leaves will be plucking out from the trees. So this kind of reaction will mainly happen in the forest area where we have acid rain disturbed in the forest. If the forest is gone, if the leaves and the everything, nothing is there, only the sticks are there, means that's not a forest, right? Then our people will cut it down and use for our own purpose, right? We will do all the things, right? But the forest means the all the vegetation in. We must have the species in. So we must have good sources in. So we must have good life in. That life will have the forest. And that is called as a name called forest. So life must be there in terms of living and non-living, right? So living and non-living, both lives must spend the time in this forest. That this kind of our human activities impact will destroy our forest area. So we have this symbol, right? We have long time seven wonders symbol. So this is the only symbol we cannot say in India, but internationally recognized symbol is this part. So for a love, they are saying, but for this love also we have some impact as well due to our climate change. So what is a close river? What is a close river to this Yamuna is the close river where we can find much samples of acidic nature, right? So that water is becoming acidic, right? So if acidic nature is coming, definitely this marbles will have much impact. So if you have air pollution and water motion pollution, both is impacting this marbles in our Taj Mahal, where we have tons of SO2. So sulfur is very high. So that is destroying slowly. Say erosion is coming there, for our marbles are destroying. Right, it is going its own natures. It is going. It is losing our own natures. Where which is so we have around the oil refineries. You can see this oil refinery around within the 40 kilometers from Taj. So right, if you give this oil refinery is the only reason, right? Definitely this is a reason, right? So where we must have some kind of measures and norms and strict environment management system. You can say that I'm going to touch upon that technical part. This is the you just know about this. So next is a source, natural source and man-made source. We are talking the sulfur, right? The sulfur we have in two, nitrogen we have. So we have a burning. This kind of this is the this volcanoic is nature's part, right? The oceans is nature's part, but what we are doing here, the burning activity, that is a man-made thing, right? That thing is a sulfur part. So if you go for nitrogen, the forest fires, right? The forest fires and the combustion, right? Combustion of oils. If you go for this refinery part in our Chennai itself, where refinery parts are there, where you can see openly the gas is the poisonous gas must be burnt very well in nice temperature. Then only it must be gone out, right? If it is loses the temperature, that that will definitely mix with the poison gas in the atmosphere. So nitrogen is a one part. We have nitrogen is high, right? In atmospheric gas, nitrogen is the one element we have around 80%, 75, 80% nitrogen is the only high. But in this nitrogen, if you mix some harmful gases, that will have some much impact on. Next, we are going for this world most polluted cities in India. So, which is the topmost is the Delhi, right? So, thank God we in the Tamil Nadu we doesn't have. But as a India, if you see, we must see all the parameters. So Delhi and Patna. So all the industrial revolution started area is the first key where we are looking for. This is 2014 data where we are can. So next we are going for this acid rain and this impact. So impacts of acid in soil, vegetation, and wildlife, and this ocean animals, and humans, and the economy also as well. It impacts. So this is the indirect impact of this economy. So our GDP is all depend on our even our pollutions and our lifestyles, right? The natures will have impact on what we are spending out. So the economy also we must see very carefully. So, so next we are going for this ocean acidification. Now we are going for under the ocean. Now we are concentrated on land. Now we are concentrating inside the ocean, right? This is the inside the ocean where we can see clearly. You can see from my left hand. When I am sitting to opposite to laptop. From our left hand, if you see a atmospheric carbon dioxide is dissolved, right? So you can see here clearly atmospheric. So atmospheric means what we have our human activities, nature activities, outcome, right? Exactly. So that CO2 is dissolved in the ocean water, right? So that water is reacted. What is the outcome? You can see here clearly a carbonic acid is formed. Exactly. So what is the impact? You can see here less acidic. This is more acidic. You can see the color of this blue. Here you can see a color of the blue and the shell shape. You can see a clear shape, right? Shell shapes are clear shape, right? There's nothing wrong on the shell shape, right? This is the shells, right? We have. If you see the more acidic line, if you see the more acidic you can see the deformation of the shell, right? Deformed, 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 deformed. So we are converting the good life to bad life, right? So we are going this, we are teaching the future on this future of how to make a bad thing. That's what we are going to, right? So this kind of impacts must not be of happened inside the ocean, right? We must look in carefully on this part. So I have taken only the shell, but we have many species living inside oceans. Plenty of species are there. Even though if you compare with the land, the ocean species are more. And then we are going into what is ocean acidification. Clearly you can see here what is ocean acidification, how it works. If you see that here you can see how it works, right? So it is a carbonic acid. We have acid, the acid has been formed, and we have seen here by 2100 the ocean will be probably 150 times a percentage more acidic. See, so this kind of impacts will be making more. So what kind of impacts we are doing here in a up, right? What we are putting the wastage, right? See here, it observes the same severity person of throwing the so all the carbon dioxide, right? What we are through in, right? Here we can see is reduce. Here this is the danger part. If you see a danger part, right? Everything is a danger. What likes to be happened, right? What we are going in. Here, if you see this is if you see here, it is a renewable energy sources, right? What we are going for, reducing the carbon emissions, how a good life is, right? How see the fishes and all looking good, right? So in this zone, if you see, it is very good, neat, and if you read everything, it is a positive way, right? Everything is positive. If you go for this line, more 34% the ocean is already at the already acidic, right? Already acidic, right? So we must be very careful on this part. So we'll be very careful on the CO2 additions and removal, where the equilibrium must be there, right? How we add and remove that equilibrium concept must maintain very well. So next we are going in, right? So inside we are growing very close to the shell. So where we can how we changes in ocean chemistry affects marine life, right? It is a marine life. So we can see the three types of changes where the shell is here, and when the CO2 is absorbed, it is converted like this. So this is a double carburetor ion where it will be having this. So it is loses its shape. It definitely loses its shape inside the oceans, right? Conception of carbonate ions, that is the main part. So next we are going in the oceans. So small unhealthy and healthy. So we must have something positive here, right? In land we must have something positive. That positive will impact this positive. This is a positive way. So if you are negative, the negative way it will go, right? So negative way it increases. So increased atmospheric CO2 emissions, growth in the ocean. That is the most important way where we have. So we must have this more concentrate on this energy where we have a acidic ocean ecosystem as lower concentration of carbonated ions, emitting the ability of marine life to create calcium based structure. So we have some calcium based structure shells which is not reformed. Okay, so inside the vegetation is growing, but here you can see the vegetation is not growing, right? So the species doesn't have food. So species must have food, right? Every species, including us, we must have a food. So that food will be destroyed much betterly if you have act as an unhealthy way. So next we are going in with acid rain and acidic nature as well as ocean. So you can see the end of the century, right? This is the current century where we have it. So the current century, everything is good. So we have attractions, fish to fish attractions, but we have that species will lose its capacity. You can see that if the species lose its capacity, that is the end of the century. That's it. So we are not worth in living in this. That is the main picture what is the story inside this. Next, we are going for this pH value. So you can see the pH, oceanic pH, acidic value, how it increases. See, 1800 here we have in green zone. Some lines are in green zone, and after the 2000 and after this in between we are in. So we are in between this. That's a center part. So this is a time to decide whether we must survive or we will look for this 2100 into the green part. So we must concentrate more on this ocean energy as well. So in the oil pollution, we can say tons of ships are carrying oils. That oil leakages affects the species inside the ocean. Because how it affects, it first cuts the oxygen in. So it cuts the oxygen, means that's it. The fish doesn't survey on that, right? It will become mad. It become definitely a mad. Next, we are going into the hydrogen, where it's separated from CO2, and how it processed, how it is has been without affecting any process, how it goes in, and how the nitrogen is converted. So now the carbon credit, we will cover about carbon credit. This is the important topic. So India will look on that, but India definitely must look on that part. So we can see a carbon credit has grown in around 2005 to 2011. We have given much carbon credit, right? Oh, this is the part where most of the African countries has enjoyed very well. Maldives peoples were in the poor area, so they have got this kind of a company reduces the emission internally but wants to do more, right? How it does more? A company has invested the REAP Africa. You can see that the stock stoves project where Maldives, which produces certificate emissions reduction. So this in this area they have emitted, they have made less carbon, right? While they're burning it. So this income enables many activities among the forest, so that they got a offset certificate. How it turns? So this offset is nothing but a 1 ton of carbon dioxide equivalent. So 1 ton of carbon dioxide is equivalent for 1 carbon offset. So this kind of emission, if you decreases, they are encouraging with the more schemes. So here we can see how a carbon offset works. So this is the CO2. One CO2 offset is equal to 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide reduction. So we can see here equivalent greenhouse effect, equivalent renewable energy must come in the balanced way. So this offset will decrease this carbon emission. So carbon emission part definitely will decrease. So now we are going into the climate change organizations. So this is the part where we have annual CO2 emissions, much more emissions we are in this zone, right? Red zone, where we have emission is around 200 greater million metric tons. So if we less than 20, you can see something here. This kind of countries are very small countries, right? So these countries will have industrial revolution. They will not like it, I think so, right? More industries are more. They will not use any appliances much. They will stick with the nature, right? Definitely, they will stick with the nature. That's all. So if you have more and more comfort zone, this kind of red zones are comfort zones where the human enjoys is the comfort zone much better. Next, we are going into a practical application where we will show you how waste dirty oil is reused and used as a useful product. So this is the engine oil. So what is the engine oil? Everybody will know what is the engine oil. That is riding conditions, how lubrications, how the consumption. So every vehicle needs this engine oil. So engine oil for a while, how the dirty engine oil we must not throw inside to the atmosphere or soil. So it will pollute the soil. So how we can reuse this dirty oil, we can see these are the standards for the engine oil. The three standards are available for us. This within the three standards only the manufacturer will manufacture the oil. So these are the three standards. First we talk about this oil, the Japanese automobile standard organization. This is a one kind of uh, standard where we will have a standards of grades of oil and the highest grade of two stokes. So two-stroke engines will have this kind of oil. That oil are for this the same grade we use for ME. So if you check your mobile, your automobiles or bike industry, so this two type of oils only they will use. This recommended from this Japanese automobile standard organization. So for a lubrication purpose, so better lubrication. So next, this one is for viscosity. This standard will you for the same oil we better we code with viscosity. So viscosity is nothing but 30. If in your oil, if you consider the Honda recommends this oil, if your Honda bike, if you have, this is the oil where we have a viscosity part. This is the temperature, and this is a 5 is a viscosity. Viscosity is nothing but a flow, how it is measured. This is a 10 is a viscosity. So this 30 is it will stand from 30 minus minus 30 to plus 30, that oil. So next one is American Petroleum Industry Institution. This will recommend which kind of energy conservation part this API will recommend. This is the only standard where oil, how it can be conserved. That standards procedures will be available with this API classification. Next, we are going for this fuel contains oil, right? Alcohol, it is there definitely, because with adding the alcohol only, we will minimize its pollution in the smoke. So definitely our petrol bunk, they will not they will definitely add this ethanol as ethanol. They will add up to 10 percentage by volume, right? So by adding only, we can minimize this outcome of our vehicles outcome smoke without any pollution. So this alcohol is mixed with it. So this alcohol is named, if you have go for HP bunker, if you this rating is very important, RON. So this is the unit where we are 99. So this in Pune and Bangalore we are maintaining around 99. So if you go for any foreign countries, they will maintain around 90. So 90, but the costly, it will be much costly if you go for this. If you Indian use, we are going for 91. So we are in 91. If you take a speed petrol 93 or 97, this speed petrol will have. What is a 91? So how it is, the pollution is less, right? So the pollution comes down. The alcohol mix, the part is around 99%. So 91 is petrol, the alcohol mix is 9%. That's it. So this in this number we call it as, but ordinary petrol it will have around 99. So that also 1% alcohol is mixed. So in the ratio 10:1, they will mix this inside the petrol so that the pollution will not impact to the atmosphere. So this you remember this unit RON. This is the petroleum what we have inside the mixing of ethanol into it. So next we are going into the waste oil is converted into usable gas and oil. How it is converting. So we call it as this process as a pero. Pero means a fire, right? Perolis. This means a separation. So how it separates, you can see clearly that thermal decomposition is happened, where we can separate this two part, right? So this nothing but a carbon gas emitter, right? Much carbon. So this reaction which this is used to will have some, we have a quick lime will be converted. This is a quick lime. What is the lime? This is a quick lime, CaO, which is the industrially important product. So burning of piece of this is the process for acidification combustion. In this combustion, we will call it as pyrolysis. Now we are going into a plant, right? This is a pyrolysis plant where we'll this waste oil, how it is waste oil is converted into usable oil. That is the plant we are going to see. You can see the pump from reactor, right? So the oil heated up, it goes into a reactor. That reactor will have a temperature, it will heat that oil around 400 degrees Celsius and ensure the vapor will go inside the catalytic tower. So another equipment is characterized. First is a reactor. The dirty oil enters into a reactor. The reactor has a temperature of 400 degrees Celsius. Then it converts into vapor. So that vapor will it goes into a catalytic tower. That catalytic tower will have honeybee comb structure. Honeybee, like a net, it will be there. So it will the wax is the long chain carbon, hydrocarbon is cut down. So it is cut down to desired length. We can see every carbon has a desired length, right? If you cut it down into desired length, it becomes a naphthol oils. It is a in desired length. If you cut, it will definitely is outcome is a naphtha. It's kind of a oil it will have, and this cathodic tower is passes into a diesel condenser, and its wax has been condensed. What are the wax has been there? That diesel has been outcome. So naphtha range oil and syngas has passed into a without condensation, right? So the outcome we have another gas also is born, the syngas, right? The syngas is nothing as usable gas where it is flamed. So inside this cathodic tower, the two product is coming out. One is naphtha oil is coming out, and another one is syngas. So this condenser it will not pass. This naphtha and syngas will not pass to the condenser. The only the diesel oil will pass to the condenser filter, and it removes the waste oil, and you will get a diesel oil, a purified diesel oil. And this naphtha oil is passed into a cyclone separator, where in the naphtha condenser, and again the naphtha oil is coming collected into tank. So we will get this syngas and naphtha oil and diesel uh, diesel oil. The three products we will get. You can see here 90% of waste oil is transferred into a diesel oil and the naphtha and syngas. The syngas is nothing but a flame gas. The same gas is given to the reactor. So reactor will burning, right? 400 degrees Celsius is burning. The same gas which is utilized inside the plants itself. So we are getting a three products. So in this way, we can have much invention on energy can be conserved. We must not waste anything, right? We can reuse this process without any affecting any closed loop. We must not have an open loop. So open loop, if it is there, it will go to the environment, right? We must have a closed loop. That is more important. The closed loop will help us to sustain our resources. And finally, we are getting into a technical part. So we call it as ISO, right? Now we have concluded the climate change and its impact up to this. Now we are going to learn about this environment management system. This environment management system is nothing but you will have a technical part on this. Technical part means nothing but we have made plenty of ISOs, right? 9001, 14,001 for environment, and 18,001 for OSHA. So when I'm talking about this only on environment management system, where we will be understanding what is aspect and what is impact. So now we are going in, right? So identifying your company's environment aspects and impact. First, major requirement of ISO 14,001. What is a major requirement, right? What is a aspect and impact is the major requirement. Now we talk about aspect. What is aspect? So aspect is nothing but an element of an organization, activities or product or services that react with the environment, right? What is a product? If you take a car is a product. A car company is end product is car, right? So what is the aspect? That car will not disturb the environment. It must be eco-friendly, right? So that is ensure the aspect. So the product or services that can interact with the environment. So every product will interact with the environment. What is born in our everything, what the industry is manufacturing inside the industrial revolutions, what is coming up. So everything is impact, right? So that everything is aspect for every product. So aspect is nothing but activity or products or services, right? The three elements you remember, guys. So activities, products or services, that is called as aspect. So another impact. What is impact? Any changes to the environment, whether beneficial or whole or partial, resulting from the organization environment aspect. So this is the outcome. So what is the result? Aspect is impact is nothing but what is the result? Any change to the environment, or beneficially or advisory or wholly partially or result. What is the result? That is impact. So aspect is nothing but an input, and the impact is nothing but an output. So now we are going in, right? So environment aspects. What is the aspect? We are activities or product or services, all kind of things is is a aspect, right? So now first let us identify environment aspect. First we identify the environment aspect. How to identify? List out the activities in the inside of an industry. Is there any project you are making, or any anything you are giving one end product? Just list out the activities that product can make, that interact with the environment. Activities affects the environment, right? The products affects the environment, activity affects the environment, uh, services affects the environment. That you must list it out first. Then you can go for an activity. How activities are use of water, waste streams, and use of gases and electricity. So we will take a simple thing, a use of gas or use of electricity. Okay, so how long you are using, right? That is the impact. So the coal is burning here, right? Here in the thermal plant, the coal is burning, but you are using a continuous electricity power, right? So how long you are using is very important, right? How efficiently you are using it, I mean, that is called as energy conservation, right? How effectively you are using the aspect, you must concentrate more on the simple things, which product, how you are using, right? First I am using for 1 hour, right? That is certified by 5 star or 3 star. You must check that product, right? That is very important. So it will have a energy conversion, so it's saving, right? So the AC, you can see the how long you are using, right? You are making very well or not, that is very important, right? You are cleaning the ACs or not, regularly you are checking the ACs, that is more important. Then we are going to aspect inside the electricity. What are the simple things I have taken out here? Use of paper, use of water, right? How we are using a paper, how we are using a water, how we are using a lighting, how we are using a equipment, how we are using a air condition. This kind of things you must think about how you use an end product of a company, right? So this is called as environment aspects. Now we are going into where we will find this aspect. I am taken factory. So this operation, all the operation area will have a aspect. In the canteen, will some wastage will be born, right? In the maintenance department, definitely there will be the contractors and supplier activities as well. We must concentrate, right? Who is the contractor? He has this kind of certificate or not? He is inside the environment. Friendly ecosystem product or outside, right? That also we must check. And the parking area and the cooling system area, AC area, like that we are checking the aspect. Then this we must have this causes, right? So what is the causes? The causes of a use of paper. So plenty use of paper will go into a waste bin, right? So you are generating a waste, right? You must generating a waste. That is the impact, right? This is the impact, right? This waste where will go, right? Again inside the land, right? Where is there you are going and depositing? So inside the land. So the cost of aspect is much much if it is goes high, so effects is high, right? So you must have some kind of different solution. If for a simple solution, if you make for digitalization, right? You go for a digital, you can see in just see if you want much important, you can take a printout, right? So it will not go for a use, right? This is the most then we have common environment impacts. These are the common impacts what we are very sad about it. So air pollution, land water contamination, and the resource has been disturbed. These are the 4 common environment impacts. So you can see here the happy face, right? Paper and electricity they are using, and use of electricity, how they are using electricity. So first the identification of aspect and assessment scorings are there, right? So so you must reduce this way and you goes for this way, right? The paper we was reducing it and we are going into electricity way we are using it. So here we must have a power efficiently you must use, right? So you are decreasing, cut it down, and you're going for a equipment. And this is scoring we can give. You can analyze through assessment scoring of aspect and impact, low, medium, high. So you must frame on policy. First, this standard says per year. In this year, I will not waste. Like kind of policy we must frame. That policy, how we will frame? Severity, occurrence, and detection. How the companies are doing, how severe it affects the environment. That feedback they must take. How occurrence, what that severity, occurrence, the probability of occurrence. That severity, how it regularly it comes, or occasionally it comes, or frequently it comes. That occurrence also they must check. And deductions, how they are detecting through the customers are giving, or how it affects through the any government bodies are telling them this kind of products are impacted this people, this much of people, like that. So through this input, you must make one policy. So everybody must have one policy. Through that policy, you must go. Here, the things to be considered in assessment of aspect and impact are quantity of waste type, right? Interesting. So we must have we must have a severity of environment damages, interested party. We must gather everybody's idea. We must take it, right? So we must gather the all kind of people. We must call even the workers, everybody. We must interact daily. We must speak out daily. How or what are the aspect and what are the impact against which we must have a healthy environment. So this is a scoring we can give for it. This is a clear cut scoring. So we can have aspect and impact, the severity, occurrence, deduction. Here this, if you the severity is high, this is 5, right? Occurrence 3, so this is low. So 15 is the risk priority number, where we can see this 15 is much it is not too high, right? So it is a severity. If it is goes high, so it is a high, right? Definitely it is a high. So severity must come down. So deduction also is 1, right? It is detecting very rarely. So we must concentrate on this kind of products. I am taking one photocopying of office documents, right? Photocopying it and use of paper electricity. This is the aspect what we have. So this document will be used in paper and electricity. That will reflect it generates the solid waste, right? So land pollution increases and resources depletion. That severity is high. So occurrence it comes right regularly. It 3, right? Detection is low. So like that we can detect it. So in your own activity you can detect these 2 parts. So you can detect another thing. So you must set a goal objective. So I will reduce the waste by 10% by the end of the year, right? You must you will set a goal and work on that year, right? Now you are going into a new year, right? We have a resolution part. Will take more resolutions like that. Check and set on target for this. So the aspect objectives and targets, that policy. So review must go again and again, so that the review will have the review. We must go on again and again, so that we will have some policy set, so that we will have it a good life. So this is the end of the session, where we have this ISO 14001, what we have given it 14,001 2014. This will give you a much useful thought 2015 area. So this is released on 2015 14,001. This will a useful product for every engineers for working on this energy conservation. You can give this idea and give a report on this. So thank you very much for this listening. Any doubts? Any doubts, Teja?
So no, sir, in chat box, no doubts available, sir.
Any story picking? Any story? Anybody has given the story of this picture? Anybody? Anyone? Anybody else?
No, sir. I think no one's in it, sir.
Okay, Teja. They will take afterwards as well. So thank you very much, Teja, for.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir, for sharing your valuable experience regarding climate change and its impact on this day, Energy Conservation Week celebration, day 3. So thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Teja.